avalanche of electrons involved could open the path for lightning leaders. His team at the mountaintop Aragat's Cosmic Ray Research Station of Yerevan Physics Institute in Armenia is the only other in the world to have seen large numbers of globes, witnessing hundreds of events. They refer to the globes by a more general term, thunderstorm ground enhancements, because their detectors also pick up the electrons.
Where did we come from? Are there other great unsolved questions of evolutionary biology that might be contenders for things we can never know? For example, why 542 million years ago, at the beginning of the Cambrian period, was there an explosion of the diversity of life on Earth? Before this moment, life consisted of single cells that are collected into colonies, yes. But over the next 25 million years, a relatively short period on the scale of evolution, there is a rapid diversification of multicellular life that ends up resembling the diversity that we see today, yes. An explanation for this exceptionally fast pace of the evolution is still missing. This is in part due to lack of the data from that period. Can we ever recover that data, or could this always remain a mystery? Chaos theory is usually a limiting factor in what we can know about the future, but it can also imply limits on what we can know about the past, really. We see the results, but deducing the cause means running the equations backwards. Without complete data, the same principle applies backwards as forwards. We might find ourselves at two very divergent starting points, which can explain very similar outcomes, but we'll never know which of those origin was ours. Sure.
But he wonders whether people on planes could receive smaller doses that go undetected. It might result in 2 or 3 cases of cancer 20 years down the line.
One of the big mysteries in evolutionary biology is how life got going in the first place. The game of life may favor runs of the 6 on the roll of the evolutionary dice. But how did the game itself evolve? Estimates have been made for the chances of everything limiting up to the produce molecules that replicate themselves. Sure, in some models of the origins of their life, it is equivalent to the nature having to throw 36 dice and get them all to the land on the 6th. For some, this is a proof of needing a designer to rig the game. Rig the game. But this is to misunderstand the huge timescale that we are working on. Miracles do happen, given enough time. Indeed, it would be more striking if we didn't get these strange anomalies happening. The point is that the anomalies often stick out, they get noticed, while the less exciting rolls of the dice get ignored. The lottery is a perfect test bed for the occurrence of the miracles in a random process. On 6 September 2009, the following 6 numbers were the winning number in the Bulgarian state lottery: 4, 15, 23, 24, 35, and 42. 4 days later, the same 6 numbers came up again. Really? Incredible, you might think. The government in Bulgaria certainly thought so and ordered an immediate investigation into the possibility of the corruption. Yes, corruption, because Bulgaria is pretty much corruption, right? But what the Bulgarian government failed to take into account is that each week across the planet, different lotteries are being run. They have been running for decades. If you do the mathematics, it would be more surprising not to see such a seemingly anomalous result. The same principle applies to the conditions for producing self-replicating molecules in the primeval soup that made up the Earth before life emerged. Yes, mix together plenty of hydrogen, water, carbon dioxide, and some other organic gases and subject them to the lightning strikes, yes, and electromagnetic radiation, and already experiments in the lab show the emergence of organic materials found only in living things. Sure, no one has managed to spontaneously generate anything as extraordinary as DNA in the lab. The chance of that are very small, but that's the point, because given the billion or so possible planets available in the universe on which to try out this experiment, together with the billion or so years to let the experiment run, it would be more striking if that outside chance of the creating something like DNA didn't happen. Keep rolling 36 dice on a billion different planets for a billion years, and you'd probably get one roll with all 36 dice showing 6. Once you have a self-replicating molecule, it has the means to propagate itself, so you only need to get lucky once to kick off evolution. Really? Our problem as humans, when it comes to the appreciating the chance of a miracle such as a life occurring, is that we have not evolved minds able to navigate very large numbers. Probability is therefore something we have little intuition for.
And I guess that's partly because the virus has spread so far and is just across the globe everywhere. So the consensus from about 100 experts, we're talking virologists, epidemiologists, infectious disease experts, was that it's very unlikely that we'll be able to eradicate this virus. And so what that means is that the virus becomes something we call endemic.
Endemic is a word that we're going to use a lot in this chat in Chronopod. I wonder if you can just give me a one-line definition of what endemic means, Nikki.
So, endemic means that a virus continues to circulate in regions around the world. So, an example of an endemic virus is something like the flu, which continues to circulate in people.
Yeah, and I think importantly, like the flu, although it can still cause, illness and severe illness and can kill people, this is not the same as what we're experiencing right now, where there is a virus that's transmitted around the world and we're having to respond with quite extreme measures such as social distancing, isolation, travel bans and so on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once a virus is endemic, then there is usually an expected number of infections.